Ladies and gentlemen, Raw has come home for one of the biggest events of the year, live in the heart of New York City.
They don't come any bigger than the Big Apple, JR, and they don't get any better than the superstars of Raw.
They sure don't, King. New Yorkers don't impress easily, but there's no doubt in my mind that the Raw superstars are more than up to the task. And it's been reversed.
I can't even imagine what these superstars will put each other through.
I don't think you have to use much imagination, King. I think they intend to show you right here tonight.
Yes, that was an incredible move. What strategy?
Strategy, my Oklahoma ass. That's cheap, plain and simple.
Superstars can make it through this match without suffering a serious injury.
So do I, King, but this ain't ballet. This is very intense, physical competition.
Oh no, this is terrible. You can't let your opponent build this kind of momentum.
Well, all I can say is someone's been eating their vitamins and saying their prayers. If there's the submission, there might not be any way out of it.
There'd better be, or we're going to see a tap out right here.
A textbook reversal there.
This is great, JR. Would you call this one a slobber knocker?
It's too... What a reversal. So, King, any predictions about the outcome of this match?
No. Every time I make a guess as to who's going to win, I never hear the end of it from you.
Maybe that wouldn't happen if you got one right every now and then. That went nowhere.
You can look at any professional sport you want, JR, and you won't find more incredible athletes. Whoa! Look out!
Kick, kick! Kick, kick connects!
There's the reversal! This has gone beyond just being a match, JR. I think these superstars genuinely hate each other.
There's no love lost between these competitors, that's for sure. If looks could kill, somebody would be pushing up daisies right now.
You've got to admit, that makes for a much more interesting match, JR.
It sure does. But I just hope these superstars can settle their differences in the ring and leave it at that. Excellent counter. What ring presence.
I don't think that these superstars have even contemplated the fact that they might lose.
I'm sure they have. That's not the kind of attitude you come in with and expect to pick up the win.
You're right about...
The submission has been expertly applied, and now it's just a matter of time.
That's right, JR. You've either got to break the hold or get broken by it. What a counter! Gonna do next?
I couldn't even begin to guess, King. That's why they say anything can happen here in the WWE.
These superstars are so unpredictable, this match could go another 30 seconds or 30 minutes.
I hope it's the latter, King. It wouldn't hurt my feelings one bit if this match lasted the rest of the night.
We actually get paid to do this job, JR?
It's like a dream come true, King. Except when I have to sit here and listen to you drool over the divas.
Come on, JR. You know I'm helpless when it comes to puppies.
Oh, I know, King. And that's why I'm bringing a pitcher of ice water out here with me next time. be honest with you, King. This is not the way I thought this match would go at all.
Me neither, JR. I guess that just goes to show that anything can happen in the WWE.
I think you hit the nail right on the head, King. And it's that unpredictability that makes it so exciting.
The intensity of these superstars is unbelievable.
No doubt about that, King. The fans are getting their money's worth here tonight.
Man, is there even going to be anything left of these superstars by the time they're done?
Not if they have their way, King. Everything they came in here with tonight is going to be left in that ring, mark my words.
I hope these fans appreciate it, JR. These superstars are putting it all on the line for them right here tonight. So, how do you think this one's going to turn out, JR?
Honestly, King, I have absolutely no idea. Anything can happen here in the...
Uh-oh. Talk about a hole you don't want to find yourself in.
No kidding. This will rearrange your anatomy.
Remind me to never try and step between these guys, JR.
That would be hazardous to your health for sure, King. Oh boy, the adrenaline is pumping. I think this could be the beginning of the end.
No, it can't end like this. Come on, do something quick. Well, from the looks of things, it's not hard to tell how this one's going to go.
What are you talking about, King? I think this is still an extremely competitive match that could go either way.
You know, JR, it's obvious that the only exercise you get is stretching the truth or jumping to conclusions.
Well, judging from the shape I'm in, I don't appear to be doing too much of either, King. You're looking pretty fit, though, I must say. Competitors have studied each other very carefully.
This match would be over by now if they hadn't, JR. You never get into the ring without doing your homework.
That would be a recipe for disaster for sure, King.
I thought I'd pick the winner before the match started, JR, but now I'm having second thoughts.
Well, I'm glad to hear that, King. Usually I wonder if you've even had first thoughts.
It's obvious these superstars have done their homework on each other.
They sure have, and this is one hell of an... Here it comes!
Oh my gosh! Chick kick! These superstars are at the top of their game, JR. They make it look so easy.
They sure do. You almost forget about the years of training and sacrifice that went into their careers.
Who you want to win this matchup, JR, but it's been pretty obvious since the start of the show who you're pulling for.
I'm trying to remain as objective as I can, King. Quite frankly, I'd rather see a good competitive matchup than see a particular superstar win or lose this thing.
Oh, come on. Everyone knows you play favorites. You're always trying to kiss up to the fans by talking up whoever. This could finish the match right here. Oh boy, you might want to close your eyes, JR. This one could get ugly.
You're damn right it could. It could get bowling shoe ugly. And that's what this business is all about. It's not about money. I'm not so sure this one's about winning or losing anymore. I think it's become more personal than that.
Of course it's personal, JR. Anytime you step into the ring with someone who wants to beat you down in order to win the match, it's personal.
I guess I can't argue with that, King. I I just wonder if they'll be able to settle their differences in this match, or if it's going to wind up bigger than that.
After some of the things we've seen in this ring, JR, I think we'd better remind the folks at home not to try this stuff themselves.
That's for damn sure, King. The WWE Superstars, the referee is down, and now there's no one to maintain order in this match.
Where do they find these referees, JR? They seem to be awfully fragile.
This is Raw action at its finest. That's why Raw is the #1 brand of sports entertainment.
You've got that right, JR. You're not going to see this kind of action on SmackDown.
Not on SmackDown or anywhere else. There's nothing else out there that can come close to the excitement of seeing the Raw Superstars perform live.
It looks like these superstars are looking for an opening.
And the first one to find one will take control of this match.
Wow! There's a hole you don't want to find yourself in, JR.
You sure don't, King. We've seen many a superstar tap out to this one.
The best is yet to come in this match, JR.
I agree with you 100%. Whenever you put abilities of this caliber in a match together, it just gets better and better.
I feel so lucky that I'm actually getting to see these superstars wrestle each other.
Me too, King. This one has the potential to become an instant classic.
Taking it down a notch, JR. This could get interesting.
They're picking their spots, King. You got to know when to hold them and when to fold them.
Can you believe we're actually watching these superstars go at it, JR?
It's great to see, King. I've been looking forward to this match for a long time, and I'm glad to see that it's not a disappointment.
I think it's pretty obvious which way this one's going to go, JR.
Well, from my perspective, this is still anybody's match.
I'd like to see things from your perspective, JR, but I'd have to get my head out of my rear end first.
And Lord knows it's been up there for so long that would be no easy feat.
These superstars are putting everything on the line here in this match.
They sure are, and they're doing it all for the WWE fans. Without them, there'd be no WWE. What an incredible performance by these phenomenal superstars.
Did you expect anything less, JR? I mean, look who's in the ring right now.
No, I didn't, King. I had high expectations, and I'm happy to say that this match has exceeded them all.
Look at this, JR. Can you imagine SmackDown putting on a match half as good as this? What
a submission hold! Could this be a tap out?
It isn't. The hold can't be broken. You can't take this kind of pain for long. I think I know who's going to win this one, JR.
Oh, really? Enlighten us, King.
Wait a second. Why are you so eager to hear my prediction?
Because I want to know who's going to win. And 9 times out of 10, it's not the superstar you pick.
Boy, these superstars superstars sure have their hands full here tonight, JR.
They sure do, King. They've got all they can say grace over.
I've got to say, JR, I'm really impressed by what we've seen here tonight.
How could you not be, King? These are some of the finest athletes in all of sports entertainment.
I know that, JR. I'm just saying that this has been a great match so far.
It has indeed, King, and I think it's only going to get better from here on out.
I'd hate to be that referee, JR. Can you imagine having to tell one of these superstars no?
Boy, I think I've had nightmares about trying to do something like that, King.
Any superstar shows the slightest hint of weakness, they've lost the match.
That's for sure. No matter how beat up you are, you can't ever let your opponent know the extent of your injuries.
And that's easier said than done, JR. The human body can only absorb so much punishment.
I'll tell you what, King, the WWE Superstars are about the greatest athletes you'll find in any sport, period.
What do you mean, just about, JR? Can you actually think of anywhere else that you can see athletes of this caliber?
I was just going for a little humility there, King. I'm not surprised it was lost on you.
I think I see where this one's going, JR. I don't think we're very far from the end of the match.
I disagree entirely, King. I bet my Oklahoma Sooner ass that this one isn't even close to being over.
That's a pretty big bet, JR. Are you sure you're able to cover it? I don't think there's going to be anything left of these superstars by the time they're done.
There may not be, King. They may well annihilate each other here tonight.
Boy, these superstars have impressed the heck out of me here tonight.
Same here, King. We expected a solid match. We're seeing a great one unfold.
These superstars, JR, they absolutely refuse to be intimidated by each other.
There's a determined look in the eyes of these competitors. No one's giving an inch.
Oh, man, I've been in this hole before, JR. This brings back some bad memories.
I can understand why, King. I can't even imagine the pain being inflicted here.
Uh-oh, this isn't going to be pretty.
Oh boy, this is not going to be an easy hole to escape from.
It sure isn't, JR. I've been on the wrong end of that one many times. You talk about ruthless aggression. Look at the way these superstars have been going after each other.
They're not playing with kid gloves, that's for sure.
We knew we were going to see a heck of a match, but this might turn out to be... Well, go ahead and say it, JR.
All right, I will. I think this one's got all the makings of a bona fide slobber knocker. I've got a feeling that this has all the makings of an instant classic.
That's probably just gas, JR.
Well, I did have some good old Oklahoma barbecue before tonight's show, but I don't think that's it, Ken.
I wonder how long these superstars will be able to keep this up.
They'll go as long as they need to, King. And if they can't, they won't be having their arms raised after the match. That's for damn sure.
You know, JR, when I saw this match on paper, I wasn't too sure about it. But it's turned out a lot better than I thought it would.
I'm not at all surprised, King. I knew this this is going to be a terrific matchup.
Oh, come on, JR. You're just talking through your hat. Speaking of hats, when are you going to get rid of that silly... Oh, boy! Here it comes! Did you ever think you'd be watching these superstars compete against each other here tonight, JR?
I had a feeling their paths were going to cross sooner or later, and I'm glad I'm here to see it.
Me too. It almost makes it worth having to sit next to you and listen to those corny expressions of yours. What the heck is a government mule anyway?
It's what you get beat like when you're in the middle of a slobber knocker. And if you don't have the guts to stick around, you might run like a scalded dog with a case of the liver tape.
All right, enough! I'm getting a translator before I have to come out here with you again.
Boy, what a match. I wouldn't even have...
That submission is locked in, JR, and this is a tough hold to break.
It sure is, King, and even if you break the hold, it takes its toll on you.
Listen to something to say to these superstars.
And if they're smart, they'll listen. Remember, without these fans, these superstars are out of a job.
Everyone's going to feel the effects of this match tomorrow.
No doubt about it, King. But if you win, you don't have to deal with hurt pride on top of it.
So come on, JR. Just between you and me, who are you pulling for in this matchup?
I'd like to see a clean victory by a superstar with a lot of heart and a lot of intensity, who puts on the best performance possible for the fans, King.
JR's not going to be happy about this one, folks. I think one of his favorites is going to get beat like the proverbial government mule.
I'm not playing favorites, King. I might have issues with certain superstars as human beings, but I respect their in-ring abilities nonetheless.
JR, you're so full of it that you've got diarrhea of the mouth and constipation of the brain. I can't remember the last time I saw superstars. The possibility that they might not win this thing.
There's an awful lot of pride on the line here, King. No one in that ring wants to have to go back to the locker room.
I don't care how tough you are, JR. No one can take this kind of pain for long.
You're absolutely right, King. We've seen many superstars tap out to this very hold.
Looks like things have quieted down here a bit, JR.
Well, you can be certain that won't last long, King.
That's for sure. I haven't seen the superstar yet who goes down without a fight. See, JR, this is exactly why Raw is the #1 brand in all of sports entertainment.
You're absolutely right, King. We've got the best superstars, the best fans,
and the best announced team. Don't forget that.
I was going to say that until you interrupted me. Now I'm just hoping I haven't lost Taz's phone number.
Let me tell you, JR, you won't see action like this anywhere except on Raw.
That's for sure, King. There's not another brand of sports entertainment out there that can compare with Raw.
Now, if only we could get that through Michael Cole and Taz's heads, then they'd stop running their mouths on SmackDown. So, JR, are you enjoying the match so far?
Yes, I am. I think these superstars are putting on one hell of an exhibition here tonight.
What's your favorite part of it so far?
I don't think it's happened yet. My favorite part of the match will be when you quit yapping and let me enjoy it.
Now, JR, keep your words soft and sweet because you may have to eat them later. I wonder how far these superstars are willing to go to get the win here tonight.
As far as it takes, King. We've seen them put their bodies on the line time and time again. And I'm sure tonight will be no different.
Now remember, kids, whatever you do, don't try this stuff at home.
Absolutely not. Even these trained professionals wind up pretty badly banged up after a match. A lot of blood, sweat, and tears have been shed in that very ring.
And I think there's going to be a lot more shed here tonight.
No doubt about that, King. These superstars are going to leave it all in the ring. You can count on that. Well, you can't ever accuse the WWE fans of being shy about saying what's on their minds.
You sure can, JR, and I don't think we'd have it any other way.
This match is going to continue until someone's completely debilitated. And considering the resiliency of these, the submission is locked in. This could be huge.
Oh my gosh, JR! You can't go long without tapping out to this. These superstars sure aren't going easy on each other here tonight.
What do you expect, King? This isn't ballet, you know.
Oh, really, JR? Gosh, tell me more about your in-ring experience.
Well, I've got a pinfall victory over Triple H to my credit. How about you? I tell you, King, sometimes I get exhausted just watching these superstars compete.
I know what you mean, JR. I don't think most people appreciate what incredible athletes these WWE superstars really are.
You've got to have some excellent conditioning to be able to do what they do.
Well, that's the name of the game, JR. You got to keep moving. No dog ever peed on a moving car.
Oh, that's a lovely image, King.
Whoa! Did you see that slap, JR? It looks like they've slowed the match down a little, and I think that's some good strategy right there.
It certainly is. I'm sure they're well acquainted with the old expression, fools rush in.
Is that why you always seem to be in such a hurry, JR?
I think I've eaten a little too much good Oklahoma barbecue in my day, King, to hurry anywhere.
I don't think anyone's walking away from this match unscathed.
No doubt about it, King. This one's going to be hell on the anatomy for sure.
I could watch these superstars go at it all night, JR.
So could I, King, but all good things must come to an end. Let's just hope it just doesn't end too soon.
I tell you, JR, this one has the potential to be a Match of the Year candidate.
No doubt about it, King. As far as I'm concerned, any WWE match has that potential. Everyone on the roster is an accomplished wrestler.
You think these fans have gotten their money's worth tonight, JR?
If they haven't yet, I'm sure they're going to by the end of this match.
Well, I don't say this too often, but I completely agree with you. I wonder if Smackdown's going to have anything nearly this good next Thursday.
I think we both know the answer to that one, King. How could they compete with a match like this?
And Michael Cole, they never get to call matches as good as this.
SmackDown's had its fair share of exciting matchups, King, but I'm inclined to agree with you. There's nothing like watching the Raw superstars perform live.
And we're so lucky, JR. We get to see them every single week. I don't think I've ever felt more anticipation during a match than I am right now, JR.
I know what you mean, King. Electricity in the air here tonight.